This is one of the extra videos I sometimes have to put in because I need to make them less than 15 minutes to get them uploaded. Also quite nice because this is quite a difficult exercise, 14.3, lots of concepts in it. This video goes from question 7, I think it is, and then talks about some of the extension questions on it as well. Remember, those starred questions, you only need to do those if you really wanted to stretch yourself. They're real level 9 questions, and you might want to decide to leave those till you get towards the end of year 11 and have got all the basic skills under your belt. Anyway, hope you find this useful. Some of you might miss out quite a large part of this, but that's fine. You need to decide what is right for you. But hopefully you enjoy this short video because it's got a cheeky little bit of editing in it where I add in an extra video because I made a mistake and said turning points when I should have said roots. So I had to get a bit of paper out of the bin and unscrew it to keep a vague bit of context. But eagle-eyed ones in there I'm sure will spot I'm working on a screwed up bit of paper to add a little section in. Okay, take care, and be good to hear from people. Be good if some of you emailed me just to let me know what I can do to make these videos better. Happy viewing. See you later. Bye bye. Here on question 7, it's got one of those ones where it wants it in the form of x plus a squared plus a number. I can do that reasonably okay because I've got an even number here. So all I have to do is to halve that and have x plus 3 squared. Because I'll have, if I look over here when I multiply that out, x plus 3 times x plus 3 squared means x plus 3 times x plus 3. That gives me the x squared. This will give me 3x. This will give me 3x, the total 6x. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, this is what the bracket would give me. X squared plus 6x plus 9. That's not actually what I want. I want x squared plus 6x plus 3. So the bracket actually gives me 6 too much. It gives me 9, not 3. So from this bracket I've got to take away 6 to make this equation the same as that. So from this equation I've taken away 6, and that just leaves me with the 3 that I should have to match up with that one there. So now I've got the equation in the form that I wanted, x plus a squared plus b. In fact, b is actually minus 6, so I've got a negative there. If we refer back to the PowerPoint slide that was titled Completing the Square, we look up in Caboodle. It reminds you that the value of the x-coordinate for the turning point is the negative value of the number in the bracket. So the x value is not plus 3 but minus 3. And the y value is whatever number we have outside the bracket here. So that is the turning point. Minus 3, minus 6. If I look at what question 7 actually asked before, it says first of all write the coordinates of the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where x equals 0. So I can go back to my original one here. When x is 0, that will be 0. That will be 0. So the y-intercept, y is going to be equal to 3. Because when x is 0, I've only got that 3 on the end. Similar to the linear equations. Whatever number is on the end gives you the y-intercept. And obviously the x value of the y-intercept will always be 0. B asked me to... Sorry, that was B. C asked me to find the coordinate of the turning point, which I did from putting it in this format and using the negative value of that and the value that was outside the bracket. And then it also asked me to sketch it and asked me how many roots there are. Well, I would say invariably if you've got a turning point below the x-axis, then you'll have two roots, because the graph will go down through the x-axis to the turning point, come back up, and go back through the x-axis to give you those two roots. And I'm sure when you sketch it you find that's true. Questions 9, 10, 11 and 12 are all starred because they're all extension questions. Question 9 asks you to put this one into a form similar to the last one. The problem is I've got that 3 there, so the 3 has to come outside of the bracket, and I'll let those of you that want a real challenge take that on. But effectively that P is going to be 3, so I need that divided by 3 and also that divided by 3, and then you can make it sort of equivalent to the bracket, sorry, the equation above, because you can put on the value here. But that's if you want to read extension. Going on to the next ones, they start sort of referencing that equation of minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, because it mentions b squared minus 4ac. So I will just show you a little bit of that, particularly for those who haven't done chapter 10. But as again, might be useful to go back and do chapter 10 before you attempt 14.3, although 14.4 is completely different and much easier. Here I've got question 10, and it asks you to work out b squared minus 4ac. Well, b is the term that goes with the x's, so b is 4. C is the number that's on its own, so that's 9, and a is the coefficient or the number that goes with the x squared, so in this case it's 1, that invisible 1 that mathematicians never bother to write in algebra. So b squared is going to be 4 squared, and then minus 4ac is going to be 4 times 1 times 9. So that is going to be 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 9, 36. So when I do 16 minus 36, I get the answer minus 20. Now why does this show the equation has no roots? Well, if I go back to this formula that I've been talking about, that my group has seen, some of you might need to have a little look at, it's a quadratic formula that can be used to find the roots of an equation. And it's minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You get all these a, b and c from those coefficients I've just talked about. Now, I've just worked out b squared minus 4ac. I've worked out it's a negative number. I cannot square root a negative number. Okay, think about that. There is no square root of a negative number. No number times by itself will give you a negative number until you get to do A-level maths, that is. And they come up with a weird cheat. But at this point, you can't square root that, so you can't solve that equation. If you can't solve that equation, that tells you it has no roots. That will be a graph that, if we look here, doesn't go through the axis, so it could be going up there somewhere. They exist, but it has no roots, no place where it goes through that x-axis. Okay, a lot in there. As I say, probably a good idea to do chapter 10 if you can't remember that, or if you found it difficult. 14.4, much easier, and I'll be taking that through probably at some point later today, so it should be uploaded on Wednesday. Okay, bye bye.